Hey, we'd like to welcome Adam Scott into the interview room here at the 2021 Honda Classic. Adam, you won this event in 2016. It must be nice to return to a golf course where you've had victory, but this season you've had 9 starts, you've made every cut, but just the one top 10. How would you assess your game coming into this week, Adam?
It's not really where I want it, Mark, to be honest, but it's always nice returning to places you've had success. This is a very demanding golf course, so it's going to certainly test every aspect of my game, certainly. I'm not quite on top of my long game at the moment, and it's a bit of a work in progress, but playing today, it was a little bit better than it was Sunday at TPC, so hopefully it's moving in the right direction.
Your results would, if you look at them, they would say consistency, and you've had some pretty good consistency here at this event. I think this is your 9th start. You've had, I think, 5 top 15s, including the one that we just mentioned. Playing, you mentioned the very difficult golf course. Do you enjoy the challenge of a really difficult golf course compared to one that's maybe less difficult? Generally,
yes, I do. I like that. I think, the challenge from tee to green certainly here separates the ball striking for the week, which at times for my career has been a strength for me. So I think it gives me a little edge on the field, but I certainly can't say that coming into this week. Anyone could look up my stats and see that's not really my strong suit right now. But it's one of those kind of courses where it can go 2 ways out here. You can get in a rhythm and play the course well and you survive, or you can capitulate out there. It's really demanding and usually windy, and with water, especially around the Bears Trap, we all know about those holes. It's got me several times, so you kind of have to take it for what it is and do the best you can and try and get on that survival mode for a couple of days at least.
Absolutely. Look, I've got a couple of questions later on behalf of others, but we'll jump in with the folks on the line. Just if you have a question, people just type your name in and we'll call on you. And we'll start with Cameron Morford from PGA Tour. Go ahead, Cameron.
Yeah, hi, Adam.
Hey.
Just a quick question about the golf course, which is, as you said, it's pretty demanding and there's a lot of water out there. But I was looking up, you've had 3 victories at 3 different places with hitting the ball in the water. You did it at Players, you did it there, of course, with the quad in the 3rd round, and then you did it at Doral as well. Is it one of those things where do you think you're not as fazed by it as other players, or have you just sort of learned that it's not the end, it's just a little bump in the road?
You can survive hitting it in the water once or maybe twice for a tournament, but I think I hit it in about 7 or 8 times last week at TPC and I didn't win. So I think, it's one of those things, when you're playing good, you can bounce back from one trip to the water. Obviously the quad is not ideal and I try not to think about it too much, but I was playing exceptionally well that week and just kind of figured, if I keep playing like this, I'll be able to claw my way back into it, and fortunately I did. I think after the experience of playing these Florida golf courses for 20 years, it's inevitable you're going to hit one in the water, especially around here when it's windy. You're going to have to accept it and do the best you can to get past that hole and rebuild.
Are there holes out there where the bailout is almost worse than hitting it in the water, or equally bad?
Yeah, like 17, I think, especially when we used to play the back tee. They've kind of moved us up now, at least. But going left on 17 here this week as a bailout might seem like a good idea up on the tee, but then when you've got the chip downwind across the green and you end up in the water for 2 instead of 1, you're in much worse shape.
Gotcha. All right, thank you.
Yep.
Okay, folks, we've got a few on the line, so just stick to one question and we'll come back to you. If we've got time, we'll go to Tom D'Angelo with Palm Beach Post. Go ahead, Tom.
Hey, Adam. You've mentioned this, obviously talked about the course. When I asked Sanjay about what made it difficult, he talked about, the first thing he's mentioned was the wind, and you did mention it. Is the wind on top of what makes this, is it just an additional layer of what makes it difficult? And also, the wind shifts, and we could have a wind shift here Friday to Saturday. What does that do to the course when you have a front come through and the wind shifts?
Yeah, I mean, it's a difficult course anyway. As soon as you put water in front of greens or the side of greens, and there's nowhere else to go but the green, it's a difficult course. But then you throw wind in that, it's a variable that even for the best players is very hard to control sometimes, your golf ball. I mean, you're hitting it out there 160, 200 yards away from you and hoping the wind does what you think it's going to do. That's hard when the penalty is water and you're reaching into the bag to drop another one. So the wind makes this course extremely difficult. If there's a change in wind and you haven't experienced that wind before on the golf course or even that week, it can change how the course plays drastically. You can go from hitting a driver off a tee to the next day hitting a 3-iron, having to hit a 3-iron, and those kind of adjustments, if you can make them comfortably in your head, are a huge advantage when that happens. And the guy who is comfortable with the change is going to do well, and the guy who isn't is going to really struggle, especially at a difficult track like this.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll go to Theo Dorsey with ESPN Palm Beach, West Palm. Go ahead, Theo.
Hey, Adam.
Hey.
First and foremost, man, I mean, with a tournament like this that is already tough, as you've already stated, does it help at all that you will have even a limited amount of fans there, so where if you overcome one of those holes on the bear trap, getting that boost of energy, or does the fan interaction or anything like that even affect your play at all at this point?
It does for sure. I think it was noticeable as we didn't have fans for so long, how much of an influence they have on your game out there. Even from getting to the bear trap and just having that little more focus, you know, knowing you're playing in front of an audience, make you focus in a little bit more, to then hitting a good shot and getting the positive feedback and the good vibes off the people watching and knocking a putt in and being able to celebrate a little with them and you know, releasing all that good energy inside your body and positive reinforcement for yourself is a huge thing, and we've all been missing that. So it's nice that we're going to have some fans back out there and hopefully help me celebrate the good shots and not have to help me overcome too many bad ones.
Appreciate it.
You got it.
Thanks, Theo. We'll go to next Steve D'Amiglio, USA Today. Go ahead, Steve.
Adam, you've touched on it a little bit, and I don't know if fun is the right word, but can you have fun playing golf course like this course this week and the stadium course last week, or is it a different type of fun? I'm just curious what you look at going to that tee.
Yeah, it's a different type of fun. I mean, you have to be very prepared mentally to have fun, and that might be the answer for anyone doing well this week. You'd be, as much as you need to physically play well out here, you need to be really mentally prepared, because it's going to beat you up even playing well, and you're going to have to be able to withstand a few blows out there. And if you can do that, you can still have fun. If you can't, it's going to become a very tough week. And it is a different kind of fun, but it's that fun challenge. So I might try and think about that the next 24, 48 hours and have some fun come Thursday.
Thank you, big man.
Thank you.
Thanks, Steve. Next, we'll go to Ben Averill, DJTour.com. Go ahead, Ben.
Hey, Scotty.
Ben?
Mate, forgive me, because I can't remember if this was you, Lisa, or Smitty telling me back at Royal Melbourne before we started play. There was a story on Sanjay that in practice out there, he was basically just like hitting things like a robot. That's where you guys would call him Iron Byron. etc. And even on demand was hitting shots on demand. Was that you, or can you recount something like that from those practice rounds?
Yeah, he was. Well, what I do recall was maybe it was the Monday, but it was incredibly windy out there. I mean, so windy that I certainly didn't even think about touching any of the holes because I didn't want to destroy my confidence. And Sungjae, I think, was the only guy who went out there to play. So we ended up walking out and watching him play a few holes, and that's where this whole thing came along. Because even in a 25-mile-an-hour wind at Royal Melbourne, he was just fairway green, and it was a bit like Iron Byron, like a machine.
And just if you could just give a bit more on his game, what you saw that week, and also just in general, I mean, his ability to sort of hit them on demand, and just his skill factor.
Yeah. Well, it's incredibly repetitive. I mean, he has a very distinct rhythm of his swing, and I think, like everyone, but certainly more for him, when he is feeling his rhythm, it's incredibly repetitive, and it doesn't matter the conditions. He knows he can just point and shoot and get the result. And I know, speaking to his caddy, I mean, it's hard for his caddy to talk him into hitting it away from a pin ever, because he thinks he can just pin seek it all day. So he's obviously got a lot of confidence, and we've seen that in his consistent play the last couple of years now.
I'm sorry, Mark, but Scotty, did he show you his impression of your swing or others that he can replicate?
No, I haven't seen that.
Apparently he can do you all on demand. So that's
okay, well.
Anyway.
I'll hit him up next time on the range.
Thanks, mate.
Yep.
Okay, thanks, Ben. Next, we'll take a question from Bernie Maguire. Go ahead, Bernie.
Adam, hi.
Bernie.
It's the first time I've seen someone strapped into a seat asking you a question.
Yes, I know. Did you see that too?
I hope he's in a late life. So I was going to ask you, you talked about driving's not the best. I noticed last week with second longest off the tee.
Yeah.
Now, with dust coming up in a couple of weeks, what part of your game is really sharp?
What is really sharp at the moment?
Yeah.
My short game is fantastic at the moment. I mean, for sure the best consistently it's ever been, but which is fortunate. Otherwise, I'd be selling hot dogs, not playing golf if I didn't have one. But I'm not really where I want to be with my long game. I can sit here and bore you with details why, but it's just, the fact is it's just not good enough. But in the big picture of things, with Augusta in mind, I think if I can make some progress this week, I've got two weeks of practice, which I really, really need to be ready for Augusta, and I still believe I can be. With the golf swing and ball striking being kind of the strength of my game for my entire career, I believe it can come back fairly quickly with a little bit of work on the range the next few weeks.
Okay, have a great weekend. Look forward to talking to you on Sunday.
Yeah, thanks, Bernie.
Cheers, Adam.
Thanks, Bernie. Adam, just I'll wrap it up with just one last question on behalf of someone else. You just came off the Players' Championship where there's that notorious stretch of 16, 17, 18, three-hole stretch, which is a kind of, have these common names like the Snake Pit, the Horrible Horseshoe, and the Green Mile, etc. And of course, we have the Bear Trap this week. How do you think the Bears Trap stacks up to those other notable stretches on the tour?
Well, I think it gets the name for a reason. None of it's easy out here. 15 and 17 for sure require commitment and precision to the shot. That's it. You've got the green to hit, and that's all you've got. There's no real bailout. And 16 is becomes very demanding if you miss the fairway. I mean, that's all about the tee shot. There's plenty of green up there, but once you get in the rough or you get in a fairway bunker, the variables change, and a long shot across water. You know, we haven't seen any horror shows, but you know, a quick trip to the water and a double is very possible. So, you know, it's really a matter of survival, and I think it's probably more so than even last week at TPC. This can unravel you even more. I mean, at 16 at TPC, of course, there's the water, but rare to see more than a bogey, even with a trip to the water there. So, you know, here I can put my hand up and say I've made a quad on 15, and I reckon if you went back and had a look, I might have made a quad on 17 in the past as well. So, you know, it can get away from you pretty quick, and this is a tough stretch here, and it is a matter of survival.
Just trying to think those other combinations I mentioned. I don't think any of them have 2 par 3s in that stretch, so that's probably kind of unique and maybe makes it a little different from others, perhaps.
It does. I mean, and the tough thing here is you get through 15, but you know you've got 17 still to come. You know, it doesn't get any easier, and certainly 18 is no easy birdie par 5. There's plenty of water surrounding that green as well. So, you know, it is very tough getting it in the clubhouse here, and really, the tournament's never over with a few holes to go. Whether you're in front or behind, it's good to remember that.
Well, we appreciate your time. Make sure you have some fun this week, as you've talked about, and have some success this week. All the best.
Thanks a lot, Mark. Thanks, everyone. Thank you.